Okay. So now take 2022. Right, just to recap, right, we have completed the algebra part. So we took like 3 classes, right? So completed most of what you need in theory, right? Just recap the important ones that you need to do a essay question, right? So then the main thing that you need first thing in essay question has two parts. The algebra part, the algebraic inequality, not inequality, sorry, algebraic equations has two parts. One is you have to build the equation, right? The other is you have to solve it. Now solving is easy, right? You just know the formula, right? So can someone unmute and tell me the algebraic formula? What is the algebraic formula? X is equal to, yes,
minus b
minus b
b
plus or minus,
plus or minus square root
yes,
b squared minus
b,
4ac divided by 2.
very good. X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? So when you take an algebraic equation question, I told you it has like two parts. One is building the algebraic equation, right? That is one. The other is solving it. Now solving part, you just use the algebraic formula. You find out what is ABC, solve using the algebraic formula, get the value for x there, right? Now building the equation, I told you it's mostly area related. Okay, it's gonna be something to do with area of circles, of triangles, of rectangles, likewise. Okay, trapeziums, parallelograms. So if you know the equation for areas, you can build the equation, that's fine. After you build the equation, always remember you're building an algebraic equation. That means you know the general formula. The general formula for an algebraic equation, what is that? Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So whatever the equation that you start with, always you're going to end it here. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That is, on one side you're going to have the 0, on the other side you're going to have the algebraic expression. Okay, that is what should be in your mind. So you build an equation. After you build an equation, you get an algebraic equation, right? You convert that equation to an algebraic equation. After you convert the equation to an algebraic equation, you find the value of a, b, and c, right? Just using the algebraic equation, easy. The one with x squared, the number with the x squared is a, the number with x is b, and the other number, that is your c. Then you have your a, b, and c. Use the formula, find the value of x, right? Okay. Now the ones who didn't do the 2022, I'll give you like 2 minutes just to go through, try to build the algebraic equation, right? Give me 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 minutes quickly. Do it. Try. I know some of you still even open the book, right? So quickly do. Okay, now check. We'll see what the question tells you. A circular lamina of radius r is cut out from a circular lamina of radius 2r plus 3. Right? So you can clearly see there is a bigger circle. Right? So there is a big circle with a radius of 2r plus 3. From this, they are cutting out a small circle with a radius of r. Right? So then they are cutting out a small circle with a radius of r. The area of the remaining portion of the lamina is 27 square pi square centimeter, right? 27 pi square centimeter. So this is your remaining portion. So you had a big circle. What do? You cut a circle of radius r here, remove this. The remaining portion, that's a shaded portion here, that has an area they have given in terms of pi, 27 pi. Right? Show that the r satisfy the quadratic equation r squared plus 4r minus 6 is equal to 0. Right? So now they have told you, using this information, get that quadratic equation. Right? Clearly you got the idea here. You have a bigger circle, right? You can find the area of the bigger circle. You have a smaller circle, you can find the area of the smaller circle. Then how do you find the area of the shaded region? That is, your bigger circle minus the smaller circle will give you the area of the smaller, sorry, the remaining region, your shaded region. Now they have given you that area is equal to 27 pi. Right? So word equal there, you have an equation. Right? So you have, see, I'll write in words first of all. Larger circle, area, area is area of larger circle minus area of smaller circle. If you subtract the area of larger circle from the area of the smaller circle, you'll get the shaded region they have given you, that is equal to 27 pi. Right? So area of the smaller circle, radius is given. You need only the radius to find the area. Right? So now what is the equation for area of a circle? Yes? Equation for area of a circle. Is it 2 pi r or pi r squared?
Pi r square.
Pi r squared, right? So pi r squared plus, let's say, the large circle R1, the other circle R2, that is equal to 27 pi. I have put R1, R2 to show that the radius is different. Okay, fine. Now I told you, if you remember from last class, in an equation, easy methods to simplify in an equation, right? I told you if it's across the equation, you can cut it on the same level. See here, now pi is common. You take the pi out here, multiplied by inside the bracket r1 squared plus r2 squared. That is equal to 27 pi. Now here multiplication, I can cut the pi and the pi here. I told you across the equation, left and right hand side on the same level, you can cut it off. If it's on one side of the equation, there is always cross simplification, numerator and denominator. On the both the side of the equation, left and right, we can cut it on the same level, numerator and numerator, denominator and denominator, right? Okay, right. Now R1 is the larger radius, right? So we'll substitute the values now. 2R plus 3, that's your R1, 2R plus 3 square plus R2 is the smaller circle. Sorry, it should be minus. I'm sorry, it should be minus, right? Minus smaller circle, that is r square, that is equal to 27. Now what do? Now this is what? A square of a binomial expression. Right now you use all the knowledge that we are learning the past 3 classes. Then there's a reason why we started from binomial expression, moved on to algebraic equation. Okay. So then this is a square of a binomial expression. You know there are 3 terms, right? You know there are 3 terms, right? So then first term is the square of the first term inside the bracket, 2r squared, right? So 2r squared is 4r squared plus second term, you multiply both the term by itself and you multiply that with 2, right? So 2r into 3 is 6r into 2, that is 12r. Then finally the third term, right? What is that? Square of the second term inside the bracket, 3 square, that is equal to 9 minus r squared, that is equal to 27. Now, like terms, r squared, 4r squared, 1r squared. If you subtract, you get 3r squared. So then, along with that, what can we do here? What is our goal? To build a quadratic equation. To build a quadratic equation at the same time, what do? I told you, one side should be 0. On the other side, you should have the quadratic expression. Also remember, I told you always keep the r squared, your quadratic term, positive, right? So you have 4r squared minus 3r minus r squared, that is 3r squared. 3r squared plus 12r plus 9 is equal to 27. Now, you think, do I bring the 27 here? One side should be 0. What happens? So should I bring the 27 here, or you take all of this to the other side, right? So this should be positive. It's already positive. We are not going to move it. If it's negative, only we are going to move it. Here it's positive. We're going to keep it as it is and bring the 27 to this side, right? So now we have 3r squared plus 12r plus 9 minus 27r, that is equal to 0. Now 9 minus 27, that is minus 18. So 3r squared plus 12r minus 18 is equal to 0. I also told you, when you have a quadratic equation, it should be simplified, right? So then here, you can simplify it further. You can take a common factor, 3, 12, 18. Can someone tell me what is the common factor you can take outside? Yes? What is the common factor?
3.
What is the common factor among 3, 12, and 18? Good. That is 3 there. So if you take 3 as a common factor, you have r squared. See here? 3 into what will give you 12? 3 into 4r. 3 into 4. 3 into what will give you 18? Minus 6. That is equal to 0. Now get rid of this 3 here. Divide by 3 on both the sides. Now you have r squared plus 4r minus 6 is equal to 0. Now that you have your quadratic equation. Compare, yes, this is what's in your paper also. You have derived the quadratic equation, right? And they're saying now, by solving it, find the value of r, that is your radius, to the nearest first decimal place. Take the root 10 to be 3.16. I told you, when the root 10 is there, when you're solving it, when you're doing your quadratic formula, remember, this root value, the final answer, the third should be, you should get a 10. We'll come to that in a while, right? By considering the value of pi to be 3.1, find the circumference of the smaller lamina. So if you know the radius, we can find the circumference. So first thing, we are going to find the radius. Now, to apply the quadratic formula, you need A, B, C. What is A, B, C? A is the number, or you call it the coefficient. A is the coefficient with x squared, right? The number with x squared. Now here the x, okay, always it won't be x. It can be any English alphabet. Here it's r. The unknown term is r, okay? So then the coefficient with the unknown, square of the unknown term, coefficient with the quadratic term, that is your a. Now here, if there is no number, we know the coefficient is 1, right? So a is equal to 1. See here, b is the coefficient with the unknown term, your x, coefficient with the unknown term, that is 4 here. C is the number, C is equal to minus 6. So B is equal to 4, C is equal to minus 6. Right, so there is no space here. I'll erase this part and apply the formula. Right? Okay. Any doubt until this point? Anyone? You have any doubt here that we can discuss? Everyone is free to talk, right? You can ask whatever the doubt you have.
No, sir.
No, right? Okay, right. Good. So now we are gonna apply the quadratic formula. Right? We can apply the quadratic formula. You always write the formula, right? X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? So you write that first, then you put the value of a, b, c. So x is equal to minus is in the formula, b is 4, right? So then you can directly write 4 there. Sometimes b itself is negative. You have a negative in the formula, b is also negative, then you put inside a bracket. Minus, and then you put inside a bracket if it is negative. Now here it's positive, so no bracket required. You can directly write minus 4. Plus or minus square root b squared, so 4 squared minus 4 into a is equal to 1. Always when you get your quadratic equation, in the bracket, write the value of a, b, and c. You won't be confused after that. You can always look at a, b, and c when you substitute for the formula. So then 4ac is equal to minus 6. Divide the whole thing by 2a, 2 into 1. So now minus 4 plus or minus inside the square root 4 squared. What is 4 squared, everyone? Yes?
16.
16, right? 4 squared is 16. Minus 4 into minus 6. What is minus 4 into minus 6?
24. Minus
Plus 24, right? Plus 24. Divide the whole thing by 2 into 1 is 2. Now in the square root we have 16 plus 24. That is equal to 40, right? So 40 divided by 2. I told you don't go to simplify here. You have an addition subtraction. You can't cut this off. You can't. Okay? Don't go to cut it off. Right. Now here I taught you about surds and entire surds. Right? Surds are square root, right? Root values which are not perfect squares, right? So 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, those are perfect squares. So root values, so square root values of numbers which are not perfect squares are called surds. Among surds, there are entire surds and surds. Surds are the most simplified version. You can't simplify further. Entire surds, you can simplify it. That is, you can write it as a perfect square multiplied by a surd, right? So 40 here, you think what perfect square into a surd will give you a 40, right? So I told you, get the clue from the question. They have given you the value of root 10. That root 10 should be your surd. 10 into what will give you 40? 10 into 4. So then minus 4 plus or minus inside the square root 4 into 10 divided by 2. Now you can find the value of root 4, right? Root 4 is equal to 2. So minus 4 plus or minus 2 root 10 divided by 2, right? Now they have given you the value of root 10, right? So before that, we'll try to get rid of the denominator here, right? To get rid of the denominator, both of them should have a common 2. Do they have a common 2? Minus 4 and 2? Yes, you can take a common factor 2 outside. If you take a common factor 2 outside, inside the bracket, what do you have? 2 into what will give you minus 4? 2 into minus 2. Plus or minus 2 into what will give you 2 root 10? 2 into root 10 will give you 2 root 10. Divide by 2 here. Now cut the 2 and 2. Remember, it's multiplication here, so you can cut it off, right? Cut the 2 and 2 here. I will write it here. Sorry. Right. So now we have R. R is equal. Remember, all of them are R. Okay, not X. Sorry, R. R, and R. R is equal to what do you have here? Minus 2 plus or minus root 10. Okay. Now we know the value of root 10. That is equal to what? 3.61. 3.16. Right. So then we can take two values. One is positive, one is negative. Two possibilities, right? R is equal to minus 2 plus 3.16, or R is equal to minus 2 minus 3.16. We take the positive value, R is equal to 3.16 minus 2. right? So 3.16 minus 2, 0, 0. So here, 6, 1, 1 here. What do you have? 1.16. Or minus and minus will add together. You have minus 5.16. Right now here, you have to find the value of R. What is the correct solution here? Centimeters, right? I've given you the area square centimeters, then the radius should be in centimeters. Can someone tell me what is the correct value? Is R 1.16 or minus 5.16? Yes?
1.16.
1.16. Why I am? Why is it 1.16 and not minus 5.16?
Area
Sorry? A bit more louder.
cannot be negative.
Area, we are talking about R is radius. So is it area or length? Ayan, a bit more louder, Ayan. I couldn't hear you. Yes, others length. Okay, fine. So length cannot be negative, right? You know length cannot be negative. So definitely the length should be positive. So you can say radius, right? Radius is a length. Therefore, it can't be negative, right? So R is equal to 1.16 centimeters. Right? So R is equal to 1.16 centimeters. Now, I have done that, right? They are telling you to find the circumference of the smaller lamina. The smaller lamina is the circle with a radius of R. We know circumference is equal to 2 pi R. So 2 into, they have told you take pi as 3.1. So 2 into 3.1. And before, they have told you find it for the first decimal place, nearest decimal, first decimal place. Now, can someone tell me, if you round it off, if you round this radius off, what will be the value? 1 to the nearest first decimal place, what will be the value? 1.16 will become, anyone? Yes? What will 1.16 become? How do you round it off to the nearest first decimal place? I taught you this, right? So to round it off to the nearest first decimal place, you look at the second decimal place. If the second decimal place is 5 or more than 5, then you increase the first decimal place by 1. Now you have 1.16 here. Your second decimal place is 6, which is more than 5. Then what do? You increase your your first decimal place by 1 value, so 1.2 centimeters. That should be your answer, right? So radius is 1.2 centimeters. Now we just need to multiply 2 into 3.1 into 1.2. What we can do here, forget about the decimal place. We can add the decimal place later. So what are we going to do? 31 into 12. First we are going to find what is 31 into 12. 1 into 2 is 2, 3 into 2 is 6, leave a space, 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into 3 is 3. So 2, 7, 3. Okay. Now, how many decimal places we had? 3.1. That is 1 decimal place, 1.2, 2 decimal places. Keep your decimal point, 2 decimal places, 2 decimal point, 2 into 3.72. Now multiply this by 2 here. 2 into 2 is 4. 2 into 7, 14. 1 balance, place decimal point. 2 into 3 is 6 plus 1, 7. So your circumference is equal to 7.44 centimeters. That is your circumference. Any doubt here? Yes. So I told you this question, your quadratic equation has two components. One is to build the quadratic equation, the other one is to solve it. Building the quadratic equation is mostly something to do with area, right? So you should know equations for area, for different shapes, for a circle, for a triangle, for a trapezium, for a rectangle, square, whatever it is, you need to know the area, the equation for area of the shape. Once you know the equation for area, read the story, build an equation, right? Like we did right now. All right. So then after you get an equation, after you build an equation, make sure you convert that to a quadratic equation where one side is 0, the other side you have the algebraic expression. Once you are there, you find the value of A, B, and C and you apply the quadratic formula. Once you apply the quadratic formula, solve it, find the value of the unknown term. Then they will ask you one more small question. You can answer the small question using the unknown value that you found out. Any doubt here, anyone? Yes? Otherwise, we can move on 2024.
Sir, how did you get that 1.2 centimeters?
Yeah, so they have told you find the radius and get the first nearest decimal place, right? Yeah, so the question says solving it, find the value of r to the nearest first decimal place. Right now here, this is how you round off values. Look at the board. Rounding off. Right. Let's say I take a number. I will not look at the board. Right. Let's say I take 1.65. 1.165. We're going to look at the board. This is how you round off numbers, right? Now you can round off to the nearest whole number or nearest first decimal place. Right? Or rarely they ask you for the nearest second decimal place. These are the rounding off that you might require. Let's take another number 4 also. Right? No, second decimal place enough, right? So then to round off to the nearest whole number, we go step by step, right? So this is your whole number. To round off to the nearest whole number, we look at the first decimal place. If the first decimal place is 5 or more than 5, 5 or more than 5, then what do? We increase the whole number by 1 point. Now here, if you need to round it off to the nearest whole number, we look at the first decimal place. If it is 5 or more than 5, then we increase the whole number by 1 point. Now here you can clearly see it is what? Less than 5. Then when you round it off, the whole number won't change. Now here, the whole number won't change. After rounding it off, the value will be equal to 1. So this is how you round off the nearest whole number to the nearest first decimal place. Now you can see when you're rounding off to the whole number, you look at the first decimal place. Now when you're rounding off the first decimal place, you look at the second decimal place. If the second decimal place is 5 or more than 5, what do? You increase the first decimal place by 1 point. If it is less than 5, you leave it as it is. Now here it is more than 5. So then what do? You increase the first decimal place by 1 point. So this is you rounding it off the first decimal place. Second decimal place, what do? You look at the third decimal place. If the third decimal place is 5 or more than 5, you increase the second decimal place by 1 point. Right? Now here it is 5 or more than 5. Now what can you do? Rounding it off, you can increase the second decimal place by 1 point. Is that clear? This is how you round off numbers. Is that okay, everyone? Rounding it off?
Yes.
Am I okay?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. All right, now we'll go to 2024. Okay, so 2024, a top of a birthday cake is in the shape of a right angled isosceles triangle. Its two equal sides are of length 2x. So they have marked it on the triangle there for you. As shown in the figure, the words happy birthday are written on a rectangular piece of white icing of length x plus 2 centimeters and breadth x minus 4 centimeters. So the remaining portion is decorated in pink and is of area 132 centimeters. So the happy birthday part, right, that is in white color and the remaining is in pink color. And they have given you the area of the remaining is equal to 132, right? I'll quickly draw that diagram on the board. So you can see the board is a bit small here, right? It's a bit limited space. So I'll be erasing it, right? So if you want to copy something down, please do let me know. I'll wait for you, right? Don't worry. I erase the formula also. By now you should have memorized the formula, right? No excuse. So you have a top part of the cake like this. It's an isosceles triangle, right angle, isosceles triangle. And you have a rectangular portion. And this remaining part here, this is the rectangular portion is white color. And this part is pink color. And they have given you this pink color is the area is 132 square centimeters. Right? That's the diagram. Now show that x satisfies the equation x squared plus 2x minus 124 is equal to 0 and find the value of x to the nearest centimeter. Let me ask you a few questions just looking at the diagram. Tell me, can x be less than 4? Tell me, can x be less than 4?
No,
Why? Why is that?
because x is being minus by 4, right? So
See there on the happy birthday portion, the happy birthday part, the breadth has x minus 4. So then if the x is less than 4, that part will become negative. You know, length cannot be negative. So one thing in your mind, x should be definitely greater than 4. Okay, I'm just even before starting the question, I'm just giving you a clue. We'll see whether it will be useful for us. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. Right? Okay. Now, using this information given to you, you should build a quadratic equation. Easy, right? You know, see here, they have given you a 90 degrees, so it's so much easy for you. You know, area of a triangle is half into base into height, and the base and the height should be perpendicular. It's already perpendicular, so nothing difficult there. So then you have the base and the height that is perpendicular to each other. You can find the area of the triangle. Rectangle, you know the area length into breadth. So now they have given you the area of the shaded or the pink color region. So then you know area of the pink color region is equal to what? Area of the triangle minus subtracting the area of the rectangle. Right? So then see here, area of triangle minus area of rectangle is equal to the pink color portion. Is this clear, everyone? Is this relationship okay? Always this equation part is important. Without the equation, you can't do anything. Is this relationship okay, everyone? Only Aman is replying. What about others? Is this okay? Area of the triangle minus the area. If you remove the rectangle here, that is this pink color portion. Is that okay? You guys sleeping? Sahara, Rahma, Mehwish, yeah, Mehwish fine. Aisha, Ayan okay. Ahmad, Abdullah. What about you guys? Abdullah okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Then now we can apply the equation for the areas, right? Area of a triangle, you know, half into base into height minus area of the rectangle, that is length into breadth, that is equal to the area of the pink, that is 132. Now they have given you the base and the perpendicular height, both are 2x here, and the length of the rectangle x plus 2 and the breadth of the rectangle x minus 4. Now we can substitute those values here. Half into base is 2x, height is 2x minus length is equal to x plus 2 and the breadth is equal to x minus 4, that is equal to 132. See here, nicely the question has all the parts that we discussed. Yes, multiplication of algebraic fractions. You have here binomial expression, right? That is product of a binomial expression. Nice. So then multiplication, first you cross simplify. 2 and 2 you can cut it off. X into 2x squared, that is 2x squared. Sorry, x into 2x, that is 2x squared. Now here you have a minus. I always tell you, whenever you have a minus, follow up with a bracket. This is a binomial expression. You can expand the bracket of the binomial expression here. You know how to do it. X into x, that is x squared. X into minus 4 minus 4x. 2 into x, that is 2x. Then 2 into minus 4, that is equal to minus 8, 132. Now you can x and x you can simplify. We'll do that first. 2x squared minus inside the bracket x squared minus 4x plus 2x. What did I tell you? Always subtract. Minus and plus, always subtract. 4 minus 2, that is 2x. Now look at the larger number. What's the sign? Negative. So minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 132. Now open the bracket here. Minus into x squared. Minus into x squared minus x squared. Minus into minus plus 2. Minus into minus 2x, that is plus 2x. Minus into minus 8, that is equal to plus 8, that is 132. All right. Now see here, like terms, x squared, 2x squared minus 1x squared, that is x squared. At the same time, see now it's positive. What can we do? We can take the 132 to this side. Why? We always, don't forget, it's always the quadratic equation. One side should be 0. On the other side, you should have all the other terms or the algebraic expression, right? So to make this side 0, we take the 132 to this side. Why do we take 132 to this side and not all the other terms to the other side? Because here already the quadratic term is positive. So if it's positive, we are not going to move the quadratic term. Okay, right? So plus 2x plus 8. Now 132 comes here, becomes minus 132, that is equal to 0. Now plus 8 minus 132, we can solve that. 132 minus 8, that is equal to 124. Look at the large number, what's the sign? Negative, so minus 124. Now cross check whether you have got the correct quadratic equation. Yes, x squared plus 2x minus 124, that is equal to 0. That is the same quadratic equation they have given you. That right? So this gives you like 4 to 5 marks, mostly 4 marks. Deriving the quadratic equation gives you 4 marks. Okay, right? So show that we have shown that. Now Roman number 2, show that the length of the longest side of top of the cake is given by 2 root 2x, right? Now what is the longest side? You have an isosceles triangle, right? So show that the length of the longest side of the top of the cake is given by 2 root 2x, and show that this length is greater than 28 centimeters. Okay. Longest side of the top of the cake. Now top of the cake is this rectangle. Longest side of the top of the cake, that is this side here, right? Longest side of the top of the cake, that is this side. Now they have told you to find the value of the longest side of the top of the cake and show that it is equal to 2 root 2x. Now someone tell me, now here, okay, we have to solve this, yes. Before that, we have to show the longest side of the cake is equal to 2 root 2x. Okay, before that, Roman number 1 itself, okay, I'm sorry, right? Roman number 1 itself, find the value of x to the nearest centimeter, right? First we'll do that, right? Find the value of x here. That is using your quadratic formula. You know the formula, x is equal to minus b plus or minus in the square root b squared minus 4ac, divide the whole thing by 2a. Now, here Find the value of A, B, and C. A is the term along with the x squared, the number with the x squared here. That is equal to 1. If there is no number, that is equal to 1. B is the number with the x here, that is equal to 2. C is the number here, that is equal to minus 124. So we know A, B, and C. We can substitute the values. X is equal to minus, B is 2 here. So minus 2 plus or minus inside the square root, B squared, 2 squared, minus 4, A is equal to 1, C is equal to minus 124. Divide the whole thing by, 2A, 2 into 1. So minus 2 plus or minus inside the square root, 2 squared is 4, minus 4 into minus 124. Minus into minus is definitely plus. 124 into 4. What is 124 into 4? 4 into 4 is 16. 2 into 4 is 8 plus 1, 9. 1 into 4 is 4. That is 496. Right? Sorry. Divide by 2. Don't go to simplify. Don't cut it. Okay. You have a plus and a minus here. Minus 2 plus or minus inside the square root 4 plus 496. That is 500. Divide by 2. Now this is an entire surd. You have to convert the entire surd to a surd. Check what is the surd given to you, right? The surd given to you is root 5, right? So root 5 means 5 into something should be 500. 5 into what is 500? 5 into? Yes? 5 into what?
100.
5 into 100, right? So minus 2 plus or minus, now inside the square root, 100 into 5 divide by 2. Now you know the square root of 100. What is the square root of 100, anyone? Yes? Square root of 100.
10. 10, sir.
10, right? So 10 root 5 divided by 2. Now, what do? You have to get rid of this denominator. You see a pattern, right? Every question is almost the same thing. Now at this step, you get rid of the denominator, right? So to get rid of the denominator, we have to find the common factor 2 here, right? You take the 2 outside. 2 into what will give you minus 2? 2 into minus 1 plus or minus 2 into what will give you 10 root 5? That is 5 root 5. Now here, divide by 2. Cut the 2 here, right? I'll erase the first part. Right, you cut the 2 there, you have x is equal to minus 1 plus or minus 5 root 5. Now root 5, they have given you the value 2.24. Right? So minus 1 plus or minus 5 into 2.24. Find the value. Forget about the decimal point. We can add the decimal point later. 4 into 5 is 20. 2 into 5 is 10 plus 1 plus 2, 12. 2 into 5 is 10 plus 1, 11. Now, two decimal places. Keep two decimal places. Place the decimal point. That is 11.2. So, minus 1 plus or minus 11.2. Now, plus or minus, you take two values. One is positive, minus 1 plus 11.2, or x is equal to minus 1 minus 11.2. If you take the positive value, 11.2 minus 1, that is 10.2. That is one possible answer. Or x is equal to minus 12.2. Now you can tell x is a length, right? Again, the same thing. X is a length. So can't be negative. Right? Therefore, x is equal to 10.2 centimeters. Right? And they have told you, they're not done, right? They have told you to the nearest centimeter. That means to the nearest whole number, right? Now, if you round this off, just before I taught you, to the nearest whole number, how do you round this off to the nearest whole number? What do you look at? What do you look at to round it off to the nearest whole number?
Second decimal.
We have to see 2 is more than or 5 or more than 5 and then add one number to the first whole number.
Very good. So to round off to the nearest whole number, you look at the first decimal place. If the first decimal place is 5 or more than 5, then we increase the whole number by 1. If it is not more than 5, other words, if it is less than 5, we keep the whole number as it is. You can see here, it is less than 5. So the whole number, if you round it off, x is equal to 10 centimeters. Right? X is equal to 10 centimeters. Right. Now, Roman number 2, show that the length of the longest side, this is your longest side, right? Always. Now, how did I decide this is my longest side? Anyone? Now, you can see it's a right angle triangle. Now, whenever you see a right angle triangle, what comes to your mind? Yes? Two things should come to your mind. What are the things you have studied regarding right angle triangles? Any theorems, any ratios?
Yeah.
Okay, Pythagoras theorem is one. Any other? Regarding right angle triangles, you must have worked a lot on right angle triangles, in especially grade 11 third term. What is the lesson? What are the ratios? There are 3 ratios where you apply right angle triangles for. Yes?
Trigonometry.
Trigonometry, right? So you have studied trigonometric ratios regarding right angle triangles. So whenever you see a right angle triangle, I'm talking about in equations and those stuff, right? So whenever you see a right angle triangle in over, right? The 2 things that should come to your mind is the Pythagoras theorem and your trigonometric ratios, right? Now, when you have 2 values, see here, in the right angle triangle, 2 values are available, right? Among the 3 values, 2 values are available. Then the main thing that should come to your mind is the Pythagoras theorem. We said that, okay, in the theory class, we did say that in the trigonometry, when we need, where do we need trigonometry? Is when you know only the value of one side and you have an angle. Now here you don't have an angle. So definitely trigonometry is not useful here. What is useful is your Pythagoras theorem. Right. Now, how did I come to conclusion? This is the longest side and not one of this is the longest side. Why did I come to conclusion this is the longest side? Why? Okay, one of you has said hypotenuse. So does it mean in a right angle triangle, the hypotenuse is always the longest side? Is that correct? If I say in a right angle triangle, hypotenuse is always the longest side. If it's given in the exam paper, will you put correct or wrong? Tick or cross? Yes? Anyone? In a right angle triangle, hypotenuse is always the longest side. True or false? I need an answer. At least guess and tell. Quickly. I'm waiting.
No.
No? Okay. Any other? True or false? Hypotenuse is always the longest side in a right angle triangle. Yes, Khadija, what do you think? Rahma? Aisha? Ayan? True or false? Mehwish? Tahara? Abdullah Ahmed? What do you guys think? Hypotenuse is always the longest side. True or false? I'm talking alone here, right? Quickly reply.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Ayan is saying yes. Abdullah false. Mehwish true. Right. If you take a right angle triangle, yes, always the hypotenuse under any circumstance, hypotenuse will be the longest side. Don't ever forget that, right? So yes, see here, the side opposite to the 90 degrees is your hypotenuse. I definitely know when they say the longest side, They're talking about the hypotenuse, right? So then here they have told you show that the longer side, in other words, the hypotenuse is equal to 2 root 2x, right? So here I can apply the Pythagoras theorem. Roman number 2, right? I can apply the Pythagoras theorem, right? That is square of the hypotenuse AC squared is equal to a sum addition of the square of the other two sides, right? So this is your hypotenuse. Square of the hypotenuse, I'll take it as AC square is equal to sum addition of the square of the other two sides. What are the other two sides? Both are 2x. Square of 2x squared plus 2x squared. So then here 2x squared, 2 squared is 4x squared. So 4x squared plus 2x squared. So 2x whole thing squared. So 2 squared again 4. So we have 4x squared. 4x squared plus 4x squared, that is 8x squared. That is equal to AC squared. Now to find the value of AC, the longer side, take the square to this side, becomes square root 8x squared. Right? Now root of x here. Here, square x square root of x square. That is equal to what? Root and the x, sorry, the root and the square will get cancelled. You will have x here. Right? So the root and the square will get cancelled. You will have x. Now you have root 8. How do you find the value of root 8? Again, this is an entire surd. You convert the entire surd to a surd. So 8, you can write it as a perfect square into a surd. Can someone tell me, how do you write 8 as a perfect square into a surd? What is the perfect square? What is the surd? Yes? What into what will give you 8? One of them should be a perfect square.
2 into 4.
4 into 4 is 16. 4 into
2 into
2
4.
into 4. Right, good. So we can write 8 as 4 into 2. Root 4 into 2. Don't forget you have an x here. Square root of 4 is equal to 2. Then we have square root of 2 into x. That is 2 root 2x. Okay? Right. Now we have shown that the longer side is equal to 2 root 2x. And they have told you find this length and show it is more than 28 centimeters. And in the bracket, they have told you take the root 2 as 1.41. So then 2 into root 2 is equal to 1.41. We found the value of x that is equal to 10 centimeters. Right? 2 into 1.41 will multiply. 2 into 1 is 2. 2 into 4 is 8. Place a decimal point. 2 into 1 is 2. Multiplied by 10. If you multiply by 10 here, you move the decimal point once. So you have 28.2 centimeters. So AC is equal to 28.2 centimeters. What can you say? 28.2 is greater than 28 centimeters. Then that's your final answer. Is that clear, everyone? I know the question is a bit long. Usually, this quadratic equation question is a bit long. But what is the advantage that you have? There is a pattern always, right? Now, any question that you take in the quadratic equation, you can see a clear pattern. Something to do with area. So if you know the area equation, you are fine. You can build a quadratic equation. After you build a quadratic equation, you always, there's a similar pattern in every question. Then you always use the quadratic formula. Once you use the quadratic formula, find the value of the unknown term. Along with that, they will tell you to find some other values in the question. That's all, right? So can you explain the Roman number 2 again? I didn't get it, right? So in the Roman number 2, they're telling you, now this triangle is the top of the cake, right? They're telling you, find the longest side of the top of the cake. So this is the top of the cake. I told you, in a right angle triangle, the longest side is always your hypotenuse. So you have the hypotenuse here. You have to find the value of the hypotenuse. They told you, show that the hypotenuse is equal to 2 root 2x. Okay, right. So you can apply the Pythagoras theorem here. This is the longest. I'll mark this, let's say A, B, C. So then using the Pythagoras theorem, we can tell that square of the hypotenuse AC squared is equal to addition or sum of the square of the other two sides. That is AB squared plus BC squared. Okay. Then we put the values. We are finding AC. AC squared is equal to each side is 2x. 2x squared plus 2x squared. 2x squared is 4x squared. 2 squared is 4. X squared is x squared. So here also the same thing, 4x squared. 4x squared plus 4x squared is 8x squared. You take the square to this side, becomes root, right? So then here you can write it like this here. Root 8 multiplied by root x squared. Right? I have told you root and square are opposite mathematical operations. That's why this happened here. See here, when we took the square to this side, it became root. Right? When you take the addition to that side, it becomes subtraction. When you take multiplication to the other side, it becomes division. It's always the opposite mathematical operation. So here you have opposite mathematical operation. It cancels off. Right? Root and square will get cancelled off. So you remain with x here. Here you have to find the root of 8. Right? So I told you the entire surd. So you can convert the entire surd to a surd. Now you end up with root AC is equal to 2 root 2x. Now they have given you the value of root 2. We found the value of x here. You can find the value of AC and you can clearly see that is more than 28 centimeters. Is that okay, Ayan?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, now we'll do two simultaneous equation questions, right? They're good, Rama. You have any doubt here? Please, if you have any doubt, please do ask before moving on. So I think we have to discuss 2021, which we didn't do, right? 2018, 19, and 21. I think those are the ones we still didn't do. Okay, we'll discuss that. Right? Now, before starting that, we'll do two simultaneous equation questions. I think we did only one in the class. Is that correct? What did we do? One or two? I think we discussed only 2016, right? If I remember. What did I tell you to do as homework? 2018 and 19? Or 17, 19, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2017 and 18, right? We'll discuss both of them. Those two. Guys, you are free to talk, right? Don't be silent. It's boring also. Okay. Okay. Then now check out 2017 question. It's page number 133. Simultaneous equation. So we'll have another session next week also. And I think we can continue this, right? Every Wednesday from, I'm sorry for starting a bit late, right? 10 to 12, everyone is okay, right? 10 to 12? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, who is this? Yeah, okay, Mehvish. We'll discuss the 19. Before that, we'll do two simultaneous equation before you guys start sleeping. Right, 2017. Take that. The price of entrance ticket to an art exhibition are given below. For an adult, it's 225. For a child, it's 150. I will read that. After reading it, you should be able to prepare a pair, that is two simultaneous equations. I told you, the last class we discussed simultaneous equation. We said that in a simultaneous equation, you have more than one unknown term. That's why it's called a simultaneous equation. Right? Depending on the number of the unknown terms, that many number of equations we need. That means if you have two unknown terms in a simultaneous equation, that means we need two simultaneous equations. If you have three unknown terms in the simultaneous equation, that means we need three simultaneous equations. But then in your syllabus, there's only two unknown terms, so don't have to worry, right? So you will always need only two simultaneous equations, right? Now we'll read a group consisting of adults and children have decided to attend this exhibition together. The number of children in this group is 5 more than, I told you last class, more than, less than. More than means addition, less than means subtraction. Don't forget, right? I gave an example also. If I have 100 rupees, you have 50 rupees more than me. What does that mean? You have 150 rupees, right? If I have 100, you have 50 rupees more than me, you have 150 rupees. So you don't multiply, you add. Okay. So more than is addition. When you need to multiply, they use the terms, for example, twice. Twice means you multiply by 2. Thrice, you multiply by 3. Or they use the word times. 5 times, 3 times, 6 times. That means multiplication. So more than, less than means addition, subtraction. Times, when they say times or twice, thrice, those means multiplication. Okay. Right. So the number of children in this group is 5 more than. So plus 5 than twice the number of adults. Okay. So twice the number of adults. Right. The total cost of the entrance ticket for this group is 6,525. Construct a pair of simultaneous equation by taking the number of adults as x. So adults x, children y. So now we'll go back to the first statement. The number of children in this group. What is the number of children? That is y. The number of children in this group is 5 more than twice the number of adults. So number of children is equal to 5 more than plus 5 more than 2 times the number of adults. Adults is x. 2 times the number of adults is 2x. Okay. So the first equation, the number of children y is equal to 5 more than plus 5 more than 2 times the number of adults. Okay. Right. I also told you, always keep the unknown terms to one side, number to the other side. So before moving on to the next equation, we'll bring the 2x here. So y minus 2x is equal to 5. That is your first equation. Next one. The total cost of the entrance ticket for this group is 6,525. You know for one adult is 225. So for the total number of adults, how much? For one adult 225, you have X number of adults. Now, for example, for one adult 225, for two adults, what would you do? You multiply 225 into 2. So likewise, here you have X number now. You don't know the number. So the total value or the total cost for the adults is 225 multiplied by X. Now you have children also. So then one children is how much? 150 rupees. You have Y number of children. So then 115 to Y. So this is the cost for the adults, cost for the children. When you add it, you get the total cost 6,525. Now you have built two equations here, two simultaneous equations. Now, after you have built simultaneous equation, they have told you find the value of X and Y. Okay. Now, here I told you, first thing, what do? You decide what is the term. Now, I told you the idea of simultaneous equation. You have two unknown terms. You use two equations. Using the two equations, you decide to get rid of one unknown term. Right? X or Y here. Now, to get rid of one unknown term, Now, for example, let's say you decide to remove y here. If you are going to remove y here, then this y also should be equal to 150. So what do? You multiply the first equation by 150, right? So 150 into y minus 2x. You multiply both left and right. Open the bracket. 150y, 150 into minus 2x is minus 300x. That is equal to 5 into 150. That is 750. Now that is, let's say, your third equation. You have converted the first to the third one. Now you don't need the first equation. Now compare the second and the third. Here also you have 150y. Here also you have 150y. Now how do you remove the 150y? Do you add it or do you subtract it? Anyone?
And
Add it. If you add it, can you remove the y here? Both are addition. If you add it, it will become 300. Then what do?
Subtract.
Subtract. Right? So now the question, is it 2 minus 3 or 3 minus 2? Because both the way if you subtract, anyway you will remove the y here, 150y. I told you, how do you decide which is the correct one? Anyone? How do you decide? Is it 2 minus 3 or 3 minus 2? Yes?
2 minus 3, sir, because the second equation contains larger number. Ah,
So
no,
2
yeah.
minus 3. Why do you say so? There should be a reason.
It's because, like, we have to if we need to subtract, we should have a great number.
Okay, I told you last class. Now, when you subtract, anyway, you're going to remove the y here. What is remaining? X is remaining. I always tell you, I told you always keep the x positive. Right? Now, see here, if you do 2 minus 3, you have 225x minus 300x. Now, minus into minus becomes plus. What you end up with? 525x. Yes, this is positive. But if you do 3 minus 2, see, I'm just focusing on x here to show how to choose the correct one. 300x minus the second one, that is 225. Now see here, minus and minus becomes minus. Now you have minus 525. That is not good. Don't end up with negative unknown terms. Always make sure after you remove one unknown term, the other unknown term is positive. So this is the correct one, 2 minus 3, right? So second equation, what we have? 225x plus 150y minus, inside the bracket, 150y. Always, when you have a subtraction, follow up with the bracket, right? Don't forget it. Minus 300x. That is equal to, again, second one, 6,525 minus 750. Now open the bracket here, 225x plus 150y minus into 150y minus 150y minus into minus plus 300x. That is equal to, now do the subtraction, 6,525 minus 750. 5 here, you can't subtract, borrow, this becomes 12, this becomes 4. 5 from 12 is 7. Then you have 64 here, 64 from 7, that is 57. So 5,775. Now 150 plus and minus will get cancelled. You have 525x. 225 plus 300, 525. That is equal to 5,775. Divide by 525 here. So x is equal to, here, x is equal to, now see here, divide by 525. 525 into 10, that is 5,250. Right? 525 into 10 is 5,250. You will add one more 525. That means 11. If you add it, what do you get? 5,775. That means 5,775 divided by 525. That is equal to what? 11. So X is adults. So you have 11 adults. Now you can find the number of children. How do you find the number of children? Substitute, box it, substitute X to the first equation. Right, so you have y is equal to, or y minus 2x is equal to 5. Y minus 2 into x, 2 into 11 is equal to 5. Bring this here. Oh, first we'll do that. 2 into 11 is 22. That is equal to 5. Bring the 22 here. Y is equal to 5 plus 22. What is that? 27. So there are 27 children and 11 adults. Is that okay, everyone? Is that clear? So Roman number 1 is until this point, building your equation. Okay, this is Roman number 1. Roman number 2 is solving your simultaneous equation. Any doubt here? No, right?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
The inequalities part, guys, right? I'll send you a recording, okay? I did a inequality lesson to the grade 11. Aisha, explain again what part. Is the whole thing or you want a specific part? Aisha? Is building the equation okay, Aisha? Which part are you confused with?
After you got the 525x, after
Sorry,
dividing
again.
after you got the 525x, you did the x equals 11.
So after I got x equals 11, how did I get the value of y? Is that your doubt?
How did you get value of x?
How did I get the value of x?
Hmm.
You want me to explain this part?
Yes.
Right, good. So then see here, we got it after subtracting, we got 525 x is equal to 5,775. Now here we have to find the value of x. Now you can see, right? We had a simultaneous equation, two unknown terms. We used both the equation and we got a new equation with only one unknown term. Now we are going to find that unknown value, right? That is the x here. Now 525 is multiplied to x. To remove the 525, we divide by 525. You know, in an equation, if you divide on one side, you have to divide on the other side also. Okay, so now you can cancel out this 525. Now see a 525 into 10, right? 525 into 10, that is 5,000. You just add a 0. When you multiply by 10, you add a 0. That is 5,250. Now when I add, now most of the time, adults or children can't be decimal values, right? You have to think, okay? Now adults or children, they are always whole numbers. You can't have 11.5 adults or children. It's impossible, right? So the question they give, should this be definitely divisible? That's no doubt, right? So when you multiply by 10, it's 5,250. I add one more step by step, right? When I add one more, right, I'm getting 575. So when I added one more, that means 525 into 11. 525 into 11, that is 5,775. So now if I divide this, I should get what? I should get 11. So x is equal to 11. Is that clear, Aisha?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Right, for the inequalities part, there's like a 1 hour or 1 hour, 20-minute recording. Right? So I'm discussing all of the theory, whatever you need on inequalities, any question that can be asked, like this B part. I'll solve it now, okay? But I'll send you that recording also so that you get a better idea. Okay, I'll solve this now, solve the inequality and find the maximum integral value P can take. Okay, if you need a better idea, more examples, please go through that recording. Okay, right. Now look at the board. Inequality is same like equation. Right? The only difference in an equation, what you have, your left and right hand side is equal. That's the whole point of an equation. But in an inequality, it's not like that. One side is more than the other side. Okay. Now here you have the inequality 225p plus 3750 is less than or equal to 5500. Now they have told you to solve this inequality, right? That means find the value of p. Is p greater than or less than whatever the number? We have to solve it, right? So when solving an inequality, it's same like an equation, right? What do I mean? When you take the positive to the other side, becomes negative. When you take the division to the other side, becomes multiplication. Everything that you did to equations, you can do that to the inequality also. Okay, right. Now see here, now we have to find the value of p. Keep the p on one side, take all the values to the other side. We start from this here, 3750, take it to the other side. So you have 225p less than or equal to 5500 minus 3750. Okay. So then we do the subtraction. 0, borrow here, you get 10, you get 4 here. 5 from 10, that is 5. 7 from 4, you can't subtract, borrow 14 and 4 here. 7 from 14 is 7, 3 from 4 is 1. So you have 225p less than or equal to 1750. Now to find the value of the p here, you divide by 225. Now p less than or equal to, now do the division, right? Now here, what do you need? Now think, you need a 0 here, right? You are getting a 0. So then most of the time it should be multiplied with an even number. If it's an odd number, your final answer, whatever the odd number that you multiply with 5, your last digit will be 5, right? If you multiply with an even number with a 5, I'm talking about a 5, okay? You're multiplying 225 into a number that should give you 1750. Okay, I'm talking about this number. If this number was an odd number, you're multiplying with 5, right? Then your final answer will be a 5. If it's an even number, you're multiplying with the 5, the final answer will be a 0. So it should be an even number, definitely, right? So we'll take 6 and check. We'll take 6, 225 into 6. 5 into 6, that is 30. 2 into 6, 12, plus 5, 15. 2 into 6 is 12, plus 1, 13. 6 is not enough. Then 7, no, we take 8. 225 into 8. 5 into 8 is 40. 2 into 8 is 16, plus 4, that is equal to what? 20. 2 into 8 is 16. 16 plus 2, that is equal to 1800. Right. So that means we are dealing with a decimal value here. Right. So we'll do the proper division. We'll do the proper division. Right. So that is 1750 divided by 225. Now see here, we multiplied by 6350 multiplied by 8800. So should be less than 1800. So it's 7. 225 into 7. What should that be? 225 into 7. Yes. We'll do it. 5 into 7, 35. 2 into 7, 14 plus 3, 17. 2 into 7, 14 plus 1, 15. 1575. Then do the subtraction. Borrow 10, 4. 5 from 10 is 5. Then again borrow 14, here 6. 7 from 14 is 7. 5 from 6, that is equal to 1. Then remainder is 0. Right. Now what you do? Place the decimal point. Bring the 0 down. 1750. Place it at the decimal point. Now another 7. 225 into 7 is again 1575. Now it will keep on repeating. 7.77777. So P is less than or equal to 7.777. Now what are they asking? Find the maximum integral. What does integral means? Integral means? Anyone? What does the word integral means? No one knows? Integers. What are integers? Come on, guys. Integers. Tahara, what are integers?
Whole numbers.
Whole numbers, right? Integers are whole numbers, right? Now here, looking at the inequality, tell me what are the values P can take? Whole numbers, huh? I'm talking about whole numbers. What are the whole numbers P can take? Now P is less than or equal to 7. So tell me the values less than 7.7. I'm talking about whole numbers. What are the whole numbers less than 7.7? Yes? What are the values less than 7.7? Whole numbers. Come on, guys. Less than 7.7.
See?
You start with 7, right? Less than 7.7. You can take 7, 6, 5, 4. Likewise, all the values less than 7.7 can be equal to P. Right? That telling P is equal to 7.77. But we are talking about whole numbers, so we don't take 7.77. The nearest whole number, that is 7. So 7, 6, 5, 4. Any numbers less than 7.77 can be equal to P here. Now what are they asking? They are asking for the maximum value. So what is the maximum value here? Yes?
7.
7. So you say maximum value of P is equal to 7. That's all. Clear? I'll send you the recording. Please do watch the inequality recording. Okay. Take the next one. Take the next one. 2018. We'll quickly do and end the class here. Right? 2018 is easy, not difficult at all, right? Hopefully you know about bit about cricket because we don't know about cricket. Maybe it's not that difficult, right? Anyways, the number of 4s and 6s the winning team hit in a cricket match was 38. Okay, so the number of 4 and 6s, let's say for an example, okay, they hit 24s and 18 6s. So in total, the number of 4s plus the number of 6s is equal to 38. I just gave you an example, just so that you understand. Right, that is equal to 38. The number of runs scored from only 4s and 6s is 176. Now, for example, if the team hit a 4, let's say the team hit 10 4s, right? 1 4 is equal to 4 runs. So 10 4s is equal to what? 40 runs. Likewise, all the runs scored by 4s and 6s is equal to 176. Now they are telling you, take the 4s, the number of 4 as x and the number of 6 as y and build a pair of simultaneous equation. Okay, right. So we know the number of 4s plus the number of 6 is equal to 38. Simply, you have one simultaneous equation there. That is x. Now, first, always when you start the question, on top of the question, you write what is x and what is y. X is number of 4s, right? X is number of 4s, y is number of 6s. So now we can tell number of 4s plus number of 6s is equal to 38. That is your first equation. And they have told you the total runs scored by the number of 4s and the 6s, only by 6s and 4s. Now, if you know cricket, you can also take runs by running. They are not telling you to take that. Only by 4s and 6s, right? So then if you score 1 4, that is 4 runs, 2 4, 8 runs, 3 4, 12 runs. What are you doing? You are multiplying the number of 4s by 4. Okay, so this is the number of 4s. So number of 4s by 4. So 4 into number of 4s, that is 4x. So 4x is the runs scored by hitting 4s. Okay, plus the runs scored by hitting 6, right? Number of 6 is y, and you know 1 6 will give you 6 runs. So the total runs scored by hitting 6s, that is 6y. Okay, so this is the runs scored by hitting 4s, runs scored by hitting 6s, the total runs given, that is equal to 176. That is your second equation. Okay, now you can solve it, find the value of x and y. Now easiest is to remove the x here. Why? Now here you can multiply by 4 and equalize the x. You can remove y also, you can multiply by 6, but multiplying by 4 is easier, right? Okay, so then what we can do to remove, now we are planning to remove x here. So we are making the x equal on both the equations. Here 4x, here x, so we'll convert this x to 4x. So multiply by 4. So 4 into x plus y, that is equal to 4 into 38. Now remove the brackets here. 4 into x is 4x, 4 into y is 4y, that is equal to 4 into 38. Multiply 38 into 4, 8 into 4 is 32, 3 into 4 is 12, plus 3, 15, so 152. I'll mark this as the third equation. I've converted the first to the third, we don't need this, right? Now both are 4x here. To remove the x, what do? Add or subtract? To remove the x, add or subtract?
Subtract.
Subtract. If you add it, it will become 8x. So definitely subtract. Now think and tell me, is it 2 minus 3 or 3 minus 2?
2 minus 3.
Yes, Ayan, your voice is very low. I don't know, I can't hear you.
3 minus 2
Think,
minus
now you are removing x. So y should be positive. Which will make the y positive? Yes? 2 minus 3 or 3 minus 2? 2 minus 3. See here, look at the y here. In the second equation, y is 6y, minus third equation, y is 4y. So then you will end up with 2y. But if you do the other way around, third equation you have 4y, second equation you have 6y, so you'll have minus 2y, right? So this no, not this, we have 2 minus 3, that's the correct one. All right. So 2 minus 3, second equation you have 4x plus 6y minus, put a bracket, 4x plus 4y, that is equal to 176 minus 152. Okay. Now 4x plus 6y, open the bracket, minus into 4x minus 4x, minus into 4y minus 4y. Now here do the subtraction, you will get 24. Plus 4x minus 4x removed, you have 2y here, 2y is equal to 24, divide by 2, I'll write the y value up here, right? 24 divided by 2, that is equal to 12. So y is equal to 12. So now we can substitute, you can find the value of x here. You know y is 12, you can write substitute y to the first equation. Now before two terms were unknown, now we know the value of y. Now only one term is unknown, becomes a simple equation, right? So then x plus y is equal to 38. You know the value of y, that is 12. Take the 12 to this side, x is equal to 38 minus 12. So 38 minus 12, that is 26. So then this team has scored 12 fours and 26. So 12 sixes, y is sixes, right? So 12 sixes and 26 fours, right? That is your Roman number 1 and 2. Roman number 3 is a inequality, right? I'll do the inequality part. All right, we'll do it later. Inequality. First, watch the recording. I'll send you the recording, guys. Okay, watch the recording. I'll send it to you by tomorrow, I guess, right? So then watch the recording, please, before coming to the next class, right? It's only a 1.5 hour. If I remember, it's maximum 1.5 hour. I think 1 hour and 20 minutes. You can learn everything regarding inequalities in simple terms, right? Okay then, thank you for joining. Next week also, the same class will be there. Like, I think we can continue this until O level. And I'm thinking to just to make this free for everyone, like anyone who wants to join. It's only a question discussion, right? Anyone can gain through these classes. So then, if you have any of your friends, right, I'll tell you how things are going to work. I'll share it on the WhatsApp channel, so you can share the channel and tell your friends or anyone who wants past paper discussions, they can come and join. So one day before the class, I'll let them know, or 2 days before, what are we going to discuss in this class. Then they can join and get the benefit, right? It's just a discussion. I'll not be discussing theory. Same thing what we did today. Same pattern, okay? Same way of doing questions. Right, guys? So whatever happens, you guys should not miss the class. Okay, it's meant for you guys. Along with that, I just thought maybe others also can get the benefit. This is online class. With a click of a button, they can join. So then it's easier for them more. Right, any doubts?
No, sir.
No.
No. Right, guys, then good night. See you coming Saturday. And please don't forget to bring a graph book. Okay, we are going to maximum do 10 graph. That's all, right? For the 2 classes. So then don't bring papers, you throw here and there. If you have a used graph book, bring that, no problem. Okay.